In feudal Japan, fear wasn't weakness. It was training uncompleted. Takeshi was fast, focused, disciplined. But every time real pressure struck, something inside him collapsed. His sword wavered. His breath broke. His body betrayed him. He believed he was broken. Until one night, a retired samurai told him something that would change everything. You do not fear the sword. You fear the shadow it casts inside your mind. What followed wasn't just training, it was an ancient method passed down in silence. A way to move through fear without fighting it. To walk into storms and remain still inside. This is the ancestral technique samurai used to destroy fear. And in this story, you'll learn it too. The first light of winter spills across the mountains of Echigo province. Mist coils through the cedar trees like smoke from a distant fire. Beneath the frozen hush, a young samurai kneels beside a narrow mountain stream, ice clinging to the edges of his sleeves. His name is Takeshi. He looks calm, still. But inside his chest, there is a storm. You see, Takeshi is a skilled warrior. He trains harder than most. His blade is fast, his posture perfect, his obedience unquestioned. But fear lives inside his body like a ghost that will not leave. And when the pressure rises, when his life truly depends on clarity, everything collapses. His breath shortens, his fingers tremble, his thoughts twist into confusion. And he hides it well, even from himself, because no samurai wants to admit what fear really feels like. In his mind, fear means weakness, and weakness has no place in the warrior code. But that belief, the idea that fear itself is the enemy, will be the first illusion that must fall. Takeshi seeks out someone who once stood alone in the face of terror and did not blink. An elder, a warrior of legend, a man once known as the Iron Lantern, Master Renji. Renji is old now, bent slightly at the shoulders, eyes like still water. He lives in seclusion high in the ridgelands. But he agrees to observe the boy, and the first test comes at dawn. They step into a clearing blanketed with frost. Takeshi moves through his forms with grace. His movements are clean, fast, and rehearsed. But then Renji does something unexpected. He steps forward suddenly and lets out a short, sharp shout like a war cry. In that instant, Takeshi falters. His blade stutters. His vision collapses. He panics. And he loses the match before it even begins. Renji says nothing for a long moment. Then quietly, "You do not fear the sword. You fear the shadow it casts inside your own mind." A single sentence and everything changes. Fear, it turns out, is not an external force. It is misalignment between action and mind. The real battlefield is within. Over the next few days, Renji observes Takeshi in silence, not just in combat, but in the quiet moments in between. And what he sees confirms something crucial. Fear is not just a reaction to danger. Fear is a way of moving through the world when the mind is untethered. Takeshi fetches water from the stream. His hands shake with cold. He saddles a horse. His breath is short, too fast. He walks a narrow cliff path. His body tightens as his mind imagines slipping, falling, failing. He is haunted, not by death, but by the possibility of failure, of shame, of not being enough. He trains obsessively, trying to outrun the fear, but it only grows stronger. And one evening, as the sun sinks behind the mountains, Takeshi finally speaks. "I cannot stop fear. It follows me everywhere." Renji looks at the fire, then answers softly. "No warrior stops fear. We dissolve its power." Takeshi looks at him, confused. "But how?" Renji replies, "By seeing fear for what it truly is, not a monster, but a mirror." Takeshi begins to see something else too. Other warriors in the dojo face challenges. Some tremble, some hesitate, but they do not fall apart. They have something Takeshi lacks, not strength, but awareness. Renji puts it into words. Fear is not the flame, it is the wind, and wind can feed or extinguish fire. That is the lesson. Takeshi is ready. They leave the village and ascend into the mountains. The wind is colder here, the trees taller, the silence thicker. Renji walks with quiet precision. He speaks. There was a technique passed down through the old clans. Few speak of it now. It is not a technique of the sword. It is a technique of the spirit. He calls it Mitsukeru no Kokoro, the art of seeing the heart. There are 3 parts to this ancient practice. 1. Observe without attachment. When fear rises, you do not fight it. You do not run. You simply witness. You say, "This is fear," not, "I am afraid." That is a trick of the ego. Renji plunges his hand into a bowl of icy water and holds it there. "I feel the cold," he says, "but I do not act from it." 2. Descend into the body. Fear takes the mind into imagined futures. To reclaim the present, one must return to the body. Renji teaches Takeshi to breathe into the belly, not the chest. Relax the jaw and shoulders. Drop awareness into the soles of the feet. Unite the body as a single field of sensation. When presence returns, fear loses its grip. 3. Move through, not against the final practice. They reach a narrow log bridge suspended over a chasm. Renji gestures. Walk. Takeshi hesitates. "This is how you train," says Renji. "In fear not in theory." Takeshi steps forward. Halfway across, fear explodes within him. His vision blurs, his legs shake, his mind screams. He turns back, fails. That night they sit by a small fire under a black sky. Renji says, "Fear is not here to break you. It is here to sharpen you, but only if you stop running." Takeshi listens, and begins again. A storm rolls in from the north. Thunder splits the sky. Trees bow in the wind. Renji wakes Takeshi. It is time. They return to the bridge now, slick with rain and swaying in the gusts. This is no longer a metaphor. This is the storm. Takeshi steps forward. Fear roars like thunder. Chest tightens. Hands sweat. The mind floods with images of falling, failing, dying. But now, he has a method. Observe. He names the fear. Not "I am fear," but "fear is here." Descend. He breathes low. Roots into his stance. Eyes soften. Vision widens. Move through. He takes the first step, then the next. Not fighting the shaking. Not bracing against the wind, but moving with it. Halfway across, something shifts. Fear is still there, but it is no longer in control. He is. Step by step, presence leads. When he reaches the other side, Renji says nothing. He simply nods. Then, the storm did not change. Your mind did. Takeshi kneels in the rain, silent, transformed. Back in the training hall, Renji places a katana in Takeshi's hand. Now, he says, cut through the form not with power, but with presence. Takeshi begins. His breath is slow, his feet rooted, his vision wide, his body one. The blade moves, not aggressively, not nervously, but like a branch moved by wind fluid, quiet, certain. When he finishes, Renji bows. You have learned the true ancestral technique. To destroy fear, you must stop feeding it with your imagination. And for the first time in his life, Takeshi stands completely still inside. Not numb, not brave, just aligned. And now, the story shifts to you. Today, fear wears a different mask. It doesn't come as a blade, or a tiger, or a storm. It comes as silence, as judgment, as unread messages and imagined futures. It comes as the fear of failure, the fear of change, the fear of being seen, the fear of choosing wrong. But it's the same pattern. Fear hijacks imagination. It convinces you that the moment is not safe, but the moment is all there is. And so, the ancient method for a modern mind. 1. Observe without attachment. Label it. Witness it. Fear is here. Do not become it. 2. Descend into the body. Breathe deeply. Relax the shoulders. Find your stance. Reconnect with the earth beneath you. 3. Move through the fear. Not after it ends. Not when it disappears. Now. With it. That is the way. Not courage without fear, but movement in the presence of fear. As the warrior walks across the shaking bridge, so must you. One step, then another, until fear is no longer master. And presence becomes your path. When you stop fighting fear, you turn the storm into your teacher. What fear has been shaping your actions lately? What might happen if you faced it not by force, but with awareness? And what would your life look like if presence led, not fear? If this story resonated with you, like this video, subscribe, press the bell, and share it with someone walking their own warrior path. Our other stories should be appearing on your screen now. Watch them next, and I'll see you tomorrow at the same time with a brand new video.